All right, morning. We're in the bunker on 3. Andrew, our superintendent, sent me a text yesterday, said that they are trying some new sand in the bunkers on 3 and 5 and wanted me to come hit some shots and test it out for its playability. I'd say usually the bunkers around here seem to feel like there's a lot of sand, kind of clumpy sand, and just very slow. So I've got a couple different lob wedges here, and we'll hit some shots. I'll just kind of hit some shots to the middle of the green here. This is the front bunker on 3. So try and play a shot to maybe a middle flag, which is going to land on a little downslope. Just kind of a very neutral, neutral bunker shot. That was fatted, but the club definitely got through the sand faster than I would normally expect. That was really good. It definitely seems a little thinner, a little faster. It definitely seems playable. This is a pretty flat lie here. That was barely fat, but good. That's really good. The club definitely doesn't get as slowed down, and it definitely seems like there's just not as much sand that gets in there. It feels like you can spin the ball a little bit more. Usually when all the sand gets in the way around here, it feels like you can't really create a lot of spin out of the bunker. I'll try and hit a little higher, softer one to maybe more of a front pin. Yeah, that was really good. Definitely faster, definitely came out higher and with more spin. Yeah, also good. Still splashy. It's not like firm, but I'll try a little wider lob wedge. This hole just has a little bit more width, not quite as high of a leading edge. We'll kind of just hit a normal one to the middle again. Feels a little slower through the sand there. Yeah, that's really good. High with spin. That's nice. Both the wedges feel pretty good here, but the sand feels really nice. I was just sitting down a little bit, so a little splashy, but a good shot as well. Try the 56. And try and hit a little longer one, maybe more like a back pin here. It definitely feels, before with the other sand, where it was kind of just soft and slow, kind of felt like always wanted to go to the sand wedge instead, but I'll be interested to see how this comes out, because I would expect it to come out faster as well. Slightly fat, but good. Really good. Yeah, I think the sand feels good. I think the club goes through cleaner. You can hit a little higher with more spin. I think that's kind of probably what you'd like to have around here for the shots in the green. Heel just got a little stuck. It's good though. All right, so we're on the right bunker on 5 here. This is great, because on the edges it looks more the same as 3, but it has a little bit more of that clumpiness in the middle here, and seems to be a little bit more wet. It was pretty dry on 3. This one is definitely a little bit more wet. It has a little bit more clump to the sand. First impression, it looks like there's more sand and it's softer. Kind of short-sided onto a downslope. I'll hit some 56 at the end, but I would most likely end up going to the 60 here, so we'll hit both lob wedges for the most part. In a perfect world, this probably lands right on the fringe or just on the green. that was good. Yeah, that's nice. The wedge, even with what feels like more sand here, compared to 3, the club definitely gets through the sand better just than the, we should go hit a bunker shot on like 7 and see. So. It's definitely a more crisp contact. And I hit all 3 of these a little long, which is kind of probably the miss here anyways, but I don't think you need quite as big of a swing out of the new sand. That's a little bit more appropriate. That came out really good. It always felt like with the older sand that you had to make a really big swing to keep the ball moving, otherwise it would just come out so slow. But this doesn't seem like you quite have to smash it to keep the club moving, which I think I'd probably prefer. Ooh, that was really nice. Really fast, but also high and spinny. Fast with the wedge, not fast with the ball. A little wider one. Again, this is a little bit wider, but in a square position, a little bit lower leading edge. That was nice. Definitely playable. I think it seems more playable than the normal sand. Definitely bounced up a little bit. It's really good. You definitely don't have to swing as hard. And you can intentionally kind of engage the club into the sand. This is the 56, probably not the club I'd hit here, but just for testing sake. You just have to make too small of a swing here with the 56 and can't get enough height and spin. Maybe we'll pretend the pin's a little further down to the left. It's good. The sand wedge is a little narrower, so it definitely stays in the sand just a little bit more, but less loft. It comes off a little faster. That was really good. Yeah, I think even though this one maybe at first seemed a little wet and maybe like a lot of sand, the club got through pretty nice. All right, this is the opposite side of 5. This looks a little similar to the other one. A little darker color. It looks like it's a little bit more wet. Doesn't seem like there's quite as much sand in this one, but we'll see as I hit them. I was a little bit fooled on the last one because there seemed like there was a ton of sand. That lie had a lot of sand, but came out good. The wedge didn't feel like it got excessively slowed down. I'm curious to see when we go to a normal one if it feels that way again, or maybe if I'm just hitting them a little bit better today. Yeah, same thing. Good. Not firm, but not excessively slow either. Yeah, that's good. Try the wider one. That's a good lie right there. Yeah, that feels nice. I'd say both of the lob wedges, or all the wedges feel pretty good, but both the lob wedges feel pretty good. The ball definitely seems to come out a little bit cleaner, and the wedge probably gets through the sand just a smidge cleaner with the wider one, but this is probably, I'd say, medium to medium soft sand. That was nice. And I don't know this. It does seem potentially, at least right now, pretty susceptible to the ball plugging. If it's coming in with height, but that could just be because it's new sand. I'm not sure about that. This is 56. It's good. The 56, got a piece of the hole. The 56 definitely feels in the ground, or in the sand, a little bit more like the narrower lob wedge. That was a really good lie. A little thinner, less sand. That came out nice and high with spin. I'd say so far sand is definitely playable. I'd say it's maybe a little soft and clumpy in some spots, but really good in some others. And the wedge definitely gets through the sand. I think better and cleaner. Do a really soft one. This is a ton of sand, really soft. I'm gonna try this with the lob wedge. Actually, this will be a good test. I'll do this with the narrow lob wedge. So really soft, clumpy lie. I'm hitting onto a downslope, hitting off of a little bit of a downslope. It's good, definitely slow, but there was a ton of sand there. The club didn't get too interrupted. There's just a lot of sand, so yeah, feels pretty good. All right, this is great. So we're on 7 now. This bunker seems to have similar moisture. The one on 3 was a little dry for whatever reason, or at least drier than these. This has a little bit of the same moisture from 5, but this is, from what I understand, the older sand, and it seems to be. Middle flag here, landing onto a downslope. This would be a tough one to kind of hit high and soft with spin, at least out of the usual sand. Came out good, just knuckly. That might be a little on me, but that's one that just comes out like different than those other ones. It seems to come out slower. All of these seem to come out a little bit with a little bit more knuckle to them. I feel like out of the other sand, that would have had more spin. I mean, that was a good shot, but took a funky bounce. But that one felt a little bit firmer, but try the wider lob wedge again. That definitely got held up and stuck. Yeah, just flatter with not as, just doesn't feel as spinny. Just has a lot of knuckle to it. It's just hard to slow it down on the ground. This one's a little bit firmer. Let's see if this comes out. I got like one of my footprints. Took a funky bounce off an aeration hole, but got through the sand good. Try one here with the 56, even though